Welcome to UTB Blogcast number 35. We have a couple of returning people this week. We've got Roy, who was here last week. We've got Chap, who found his way out of the Outback. And we've got Erica, who we now know can speak because she just posted her podcast last night.
Yeah, so I can talk.
Tonight, Erica, just interrupt us. We want to hear your voice. And Dave will hopefully be coming on if he can figure out how to press that power button on his computer.
He's lost in the Outback too.
Yeah. He's lost in the Canadian Outback, slurping syrup and eating Timbits.
Building walls to keep out Americans.
For after the election. So a couple new markets gets the priv this week. Verizon, our CDMA network that couldn't accept the unlocked privs, received it this week, and Israel got it too.
Yeah.
Congratulations there, Roy.
Thank you. After 5 months of hard work, the priv is launching in Israel. Yeah.
It's kind of funny that you both got it on the same day, Verizon and Israel.
Yeah, we have the same amount of users. Yeah. They have 300 million or something like that. All the Israeli market is like 5 million.
That's not bad for Verizon.
But yes, the priv is will be the next enterprise device here in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
At least it's what we are trying to do.
Excellent. Any idea with how it's gone so far? I mean, it's only very early days, I know, but any info for us?
It's not selling through the carrier online site or through the retail stores. You can order it through the phone, and most of the selling part will be to enterprises like the National Bank or security companies like that. So it will be not selling like how many units per day, but how many units per deal that the carrier will be closed. We want that the device will be selling through in other channels to consumers, but the price in Israel, because of the taxes, is very high. It's like $1,000. It's like $1,000, 300, something like this. It's very high price. It's like the average salary in Israel.
Are you getting complaints on that?
Yeah,
like I know
the most complaints is about the price of the device. It's even higher than the highest price of the iPhone 6s and 100 gigas or whatever. But the Israeli are not like BlackBerry, so when they find that the price is high, they complain. They need to understand that BlackBerry is not here for them. They're here for the big enterprises, and enterprises don't pay the taxes, so it's cheaper, like $300, $400 cheaper, and it's for them. BlackBerry here are not for selling to every people on the street or something like that, so they need to understand it's a premium device. It's not a Samsung or an LG or a Huawei or another funny name.
So basically, for the taxes that Israel put on such devices, for BlackBerry to sell it to the consumer would be unprofitable. Is that kind of where we're looking?
The carrier takes some really nice profit profit from this device. If there were
Yep.
less want to, I think the device could be selling $200 less if they really want. But we okay. It's the first BlackBerry device that launched in Israel since 2013. So it's fine by us. It's nice to see the device in every site, in every tech site, everybody talking about it. I just posted to the UTB group advertising from Business Magazine. Everybody talking about the security measures of the device, the DTech app. It's really nice.
Okay.
Well, hopefully it does well, even in spite of that price over there. I know the Verizon price is right where we expected it to be. It's I believe $720 if you just go in and pay for it all at once. And was it $30 a month? I forget, but it falls right in line with what we see at AT&T. But now we've got it in our real carriers, in AT&T and Verizon finally. And I know that there are a lot of people, Verizon customers, who have been frustrated that they haven't been able to get a BlackBerry device since the Z30. I take that back. They got the Classic, but the Classic, that's for a definite group of people. The old BlackBerry fans. Us, still a favorite device of mine. Made fun of Blackjack for wanting that when it was coming out, Blackjack and James, and now I kind of regret having done that.
I don't. It is still funny.
Yeah. I'm glad I didn't go for the Classic. I wanted something different and something that felt like an upgrade, and the Classic felt like a step backward just because of the style and the form factor. Even though I know it's BB10 and I know it's a great phone, I wanted something that felt like it was something I hadn't had before.
Yep. I felt the same with the Q10. I was happy with what I had with the Q10. The additionals the Classic brought weren't enough for me. Passport does the job for that. But that's the great thing about BlackBerry, each to their own. We've got the Priv now, and that's a good thing. Now that it's in Israel, we can keep spreading to more markets and see how we go. That's awesome.
It's more important than Israel that Verizon will push the device.
Yeah.
If Verizon can make the Priv successful in the US, that's simple.
Yeah, I
agree.
still haven't made it.
That. Go ahead, Brad.
Go right ahead, chap. I start off by telling you guys to interrupt, so you might as well do it.
Well, actually, sorry. What I meant to say was, shut up. I think yes, the US is an important market, but one of the narratives we're constantly saying is that America does not dictate the overall BlackBerry success. We've got to look to the global markets. So while it will be good to see Verizon push it and Verizon actually run well with it, we need to hear about stories, Israel, Australia, Asia, anywhere else as well. So it would be great to hear, Roy, in the next few weeks just how Israel is selling and whether that's been a big success.
The US market is a key market for a lot of other markets, because like in Israel, the journalists, the consumers are looking to the US market, and if this device will success in the US market, so people will buy it here. We are not most of the Israelis are like iShips. They see something successful in another place, so they want it. I'm sure there is a lot of another markets like us, bigger market, because we are tiny. So if Verizon will make the Priv successful, I see it starting successful, make success in other markets, not like Indonesia, UAE, and other markets that already like the Priv, but in other markets that the Priv or BlackBerry are slower sales.
Cool.
Yeah.
We'll keep an eye on it.
Erica, have you managed to go into a Verizon store? I haven't had time. I know that they have them available online, and I wanted to go into a local store, but I haven't.
Yeah,
haven't done
Verizon
it.
isn't anywhere around here other than like St. Louis and the bigger cities. We only have AT&T, Sprint, and US Cellular around here. So
U.S. Cellular. What is that?
Yeah, I know, right? So no, I don't have access to any Verizon stores to even go in and see if they have them on display.
Where do you live? Are you out in the boondocks? Verizon, the nation's largest network.
I keep telling you, I live in Missouri, and yes, it can be the boondocks. But I'm not allowed to badmouth it too much because my husband gets upset with me.
Well,
Okay.
we definitely have Verizon stores here. There's no doubt about that. But you know, the world's largest, clearest network, whatever it is they like to say about it, it sucks here. It really does. We actually have like I believe last I heard it was somewhere between 80 and 90% market penetration by AT&T, which is just about unheard of. So I'm kind of anxious to see if we have them in store at our local Verizons. And here comes Wayno cracking open a beer right as he comes on screen.
Oh,
Just in time.
Our Aussie class. Well done. G'day, buddy.
Cheers, boys. And Erica.
There you go. You almost forgot me.
Never forget you. Never forget you.
Well, it's interesting with BlackBerry devices. You're talking about seeing them on display in Verizon. When American carriers get devices, do they always display them? Will they always have them in store, or are there any instances where a device might be on online-only sales or something radical like that? Because I'm just thinking, and Wayno knows what I'm talking about here, Optus decided rather than actually stocking them in stores, and I know why, because they didn't have enough to do this, they had online-only sales, and people, as we know, like to go in, have a feel, have a play around, and actually have a look. When a BlackBerry device is released by a carrier, will it always be on the shelf for people to have a look at?
It used to be. Used to, any phone that came out was always there. I'd say right up to about the Bold 9900 was probably the last one that was everywhere. Even when you got into the Torch, the 9810 is when you started seeing some carriers not carry. I think the Z10s and the Q10s went right into stores, and then that was the final straw for BlackBerry. The Z30 was in the Verizon stores around me, and of course the other carriers didn't carry it. You know the trouble we went through getting the Passport on AT&T, as far as, you know, they had to grind down the corners to do it, and yeah. Then the Passport went into the stores. I know they went into the corporate stores. They didn't go into the like the third-party stores. Yeah, and even now you can find them online with AT&T, but they're not in any stores. The Classic is, and the Priv is, and like Verizon, I was looking the other night, and I know that they did have the Classic in stores, but they also offer a no-camera Classic, and that was online only. It's a little more specialized, which used to be pretty common with the old BBOS phones. I remember. You know, people have jobs where they can't have a camera phone, but I haven't seen or heard of that in years until Verizon offered a no-camera classic.
Well, with MDM these days, aren't they just able to disable the camera functionality, disable the APIs and what have you through their device management? So that's not as much of an issue anymore. But I guess what I'm really driving at is the way that things really sell. Yes, online is a great thing, and we online shop with almost everything. But I think for devices like this, most people make their decisions once it's in their hand. So you'll walk into a store, and we've seen this, especially with BB10 devices. People are being swayed simply because of the fact that they're able to hold on to the device and play around with it. And the sales rep is able to come up to them and say, "Oh, have you had a look at this or had a look at that?" And go, "Oh, okay, that's interesting." If it's not sitting there, then, I mean, in my opinion, it's not going to sell. And we're finding that with BlackBerry here in Australia. Telstra have been the only ones to put one on a shelf, and that's been the classic. And it's been a couple of years since we've seen one on shelves.
I think the biggest problem too is not many people know that they're available. It's only been the BlackBerry fans that are keeping an eye open for the device and following it on forums that are aware that it is available through Optus. The general public just aren't aware, and there's been no advertising for it in Australia, which has been a big letdown.
But I think what we see, especially with what we were talking about with Israel before, was that that's my phone, I can let it go, was that BlackBerry in smaller markets are going towards their corporate sides now. They're aiming towards the business. Israel has largely been pushed towards corporate sector. As Roy said, they're not really looking to the consumers. Consumers can get them, but from third-party overseas or grey importers, as it were. And I think Australia's going the same. BlackBerry are marketing more towards the corporate sector for survival, I guess, because that's where their strengths are. And that's what Chen said he had to do. He had to go back to the core business, the core strengths of BlackBerry. But I think, again, America's a very different market, and that whole idea of getting things on the shelves, most other countries won't be doing that. Maybe UK, Canada, US, but I don't see nations outside of those three really starting to put devices on shelves for people to get a hold of, and that's going to be the big struggle. Especially, I mean, we're fans, we're consumers ourselves. Going forward like that's going to be a really tough thing to do. I'm talking a lot. Am I the new Dave? That's a bit rough.
We're still struggling trying to get Dave on here, and he's harshing my conversational tones. Okay, I'm gonna try this one more time. You guys talk amongst yourselves. Coffee talk.
Look, I can understand what you were saying there, chap, as far as BB10 devices, but a device like the Priv would appeal to consumers as well, and I think that should be in the stores.
I agree wholeheartedly, but we're still coming off the back of that market share, and the market share is with BB10 devices. This is a brand new market, it's a brand new area, it's a brand new direction for BlackBerry. You're right, the Priv will appeal to most consumers, but there's still the history is those BB10 sales. So I don't think that they've yet got they don't have a base with which to test this new idea. If they were to go all out and do as you say and just pretend like it's a consumer device like a Samsung or an iPhone, it could kill the company. It could send them broke, basically. And you hear in certain forums all throughout the community people saying, why don't they just? And these guys are thinking like consumers. They're thinking like they are supporting a brand like Samsung or iPhone who have the non-mobile resources to push into this area and try and saturate the market. BlackBerry don't have that. they're building their software revenue, but they are not yet in a position to say, here's a new direction. Let's put all our chips on the table. Let's go all in, and let's hope that with our 3-pair or our full house, nobody else on the table has a flush or a straight or a royal flush. I think that's from a business perspective, that's a really dangerous game to play, especially if you're fighting for survival.
I agree, but I don't think they need to go all in. It'd be nice just to see some form of marketing. We've seen nothing here in Australia, absolutely nothing whatsoever.
I agree.
I don't
Except
think they have to go all in. Well, that's right.
Yeah.
But I mean, it shouldn't be up to us, the general public, to do that. I feel that BlackBerry needs to do something, even whether it's minimal, a newspaper ad, something, a catalogue in cahoots with Optus. Get it out there.
Do you remember that? And I mean, you probably didn't have it there, but the BlackBerry Super Bowl ad. They spent a shit ton of money on a Super Bowl ad before the phones were available.
That's right.
If they were to start advertising in Australia right now, could your Australian brethren go down and buy a phone? No. They're out of stock, right?
Well, that's right. At this point, they're out of stock. But I mean, what's the harm in they're selling them exclusively through Optus? Why can't they put it in a catalogue? I mean, quite often we're getting catalogues in the mail, Vodafone, Telstra, and the occasional Optus one. It's not that expensive to add it in to a catalogue at least and get it out there. A lot of people don't go on the website to look at devices. They'll either see it in a catalogue or go in store looking for it.
What I have noticed in terms of marketing in this country... No, I completely agree with you. But what I have noticed in terms of marketing in this country is you're starting to see Matt Ball in a lot of... Matt Ball, for those of you who don't know, is General Manager for BlackBerry in Australia and New Zealand. You're starting to see him being interviewed in a lot of the higher class newspapers, the Australian, the Financial Review, places like that. And he's talking about the software changes. He's talking about the enterprise stuff. What he's also doing is every time he's on, he's talking about the priv. He mentions Optus, and what he's doing is he's saying to businesses, we're here, we've got a device, we've got something that we think you're going to like. Optus can stock it for you. We know that's kind of not true at the moment, but what they can do is the way that businesses talk to their carriers is very different to the way that the consumer does. They have business managers, so they're able to get more inside detail on when devices are going to be available and that sort of stuff. So the marketing, while we're not seeing ads, while we're not seeing catalogs, we are seeing these interviews. And I got to admit, I wouldn't mind getting something like that for UTB. I'm conscious of not announcing anything, but I'd love for us to be able to do something along those lines for UTB to do that interview stuff. I think that's probably where it's at, because one of the things that we hear in the forums is people want to hear from BlackBerry. They want to hear announcements. They want to hear people saying stuff that they can hold on to. We know how when somebody says something very small, our community can turn around and turn it into something extremely big. So I think that's probably where people want to hear about stuff. You're right. I'd love to see Optus throw out a thing with Priv on it. That'd be great. But I think at the moment the BlackBerry focus is on that higher end community. We talked about the fact that the Priv is a premium device. Roy, you were saying that Israel's very, very expensive for the Priv, and I think it's aimed at that high end market. We are looking down the barrel of a second device. Rumours are abounding, but nothing as yet. I've got to admit, I'm glad there hasn't been an announcement yet, because if there had been, we'd be in a lot of trouble with all of the rumours about what it can and can't do, mostly what it can't do. but we're looking down the barrel of a new device, and I think that's probably where you'll see the Android equivalent of BlackBerry's software integration come and aim at consumers. So hopefully, with the Priv being a success, we can see more of that consumer side with the next device. Those are just my thoughts on where we're at the moment.
And look, talking to Optus yesterday, the device is selling very well in business. They have currently taken it off sale because they're having issues fulfilling the back orders. And the person that I was talking to from Optus yesterday was saying that in Brisbane and I think Adelaide or Melbourne, just those two cities alone, they had something like 3,500 back orders to fill, which is, you know, quite a big number. But when you compare that to, or those figures to the new Samsung, I mean, they're talking about pre-orders already of well in excess of that. So yeah, the device is definitely selling to business. That's for sure. That's the reason why it's constantly out of stock at the moment.
That's right.
But you can't expect the Priv to do the Samsung numbers, and BlackBerry's not expecting it to do those numbers. It doesn't need to do those numbers in order to be profitable.
That's right. Samsung does in excess of those numbers, and they're not profitable.
Let's move on, just because I didn't think we were going to talk that long about that. I think a much more in-depth conversation is WhatsApp, because there's actually a lot that we can go over with on WhatsApp. WhatsApp announced that they were going to be stopping support of a bunch of old devices and old platforms. Oh, and let's just throw BlackBerry 10 in there while we're at it.
WhatsApp docs?
Stating that these platforms weren't up to the task of what WhatsApp had in store. And then, was it the following day, we see a new beta of WhatsApp in the beta zone, which does everything that the current WhatsApp does. I mean, we know for a fact that BlackBerry 10 can and does do everything that these other platforms can do better. So there's more to the story. We know that. Yep. Here's an issue before we get too far into that. We posted some fans. I'm not entirely sure who is behind it, but they put up a basically, you know, a petition to get WhatsApp to stay. And you know, I'm all for supporting the community. I don't use WhatsApp. I would never put WhatsApp on any of my phones. I can't stand what they do as far as scraping your data and your information. I just won't use WhatsApp. We get marketing material to our admin email all the time saying, you know, hey, let us do your SEO, let us do that, and they'll put their little WhatsApp number on there to contact them. And my response, you know, I don't just dump those. I always respond to them that I would never do business with a business that uses WhatsApp. I just won't do it. So I am very anti-WhatsApp, but I signed that petition. I promoted that petition, and it seems like all the comments we got were so long, good riddance, we don't want you. But the fact of the matter is that is a big app that, you know, we don't care about, I don't care about, you guys may care about, but we want BlackBerry to sell. We still love our BB10 devices. We still want BB10 to sell, and if it's one more thing that's talking somebody in Malaysia or India into not buying that Leap or that Classic or Passport, we don't need that. So, you know, it's like, we don't have to like something to support our brothers and sisters in BlackBerry.
I have a theory. I'm just going to throw it out here because I've really been thinking about this whole WhatsApp thing. WhatsApp is owned by Facebook, yeah? Why I'm asking this question, we already know that. when was the last time the Facebook app was updated?
It hasn't been.
It hasn't been, right.
You're just rushing right to the meat of the matter, aren't you there, chap?
I am.
But that's actually a BlackBerry app. BlackBerry developed that.
Yeah,
The Facebook app is a...
that's right.
It's BlackBerry now. There is a deal between...
It's a BlackBerry app. Absolutely.
Well,
but what we're seeing
look who's finally
is
joined.
Oh, Dave. I'm going to speak because the minute he gets on, I'm not going to get a word in edgewise.
Quick, Erica, say something. Get a word in now. You never will.
Chance, Erica.
I think I'll be okay. I'm just listening for now.
Look,
Okay.
there's two of him.
We've got
Double
WhatsApp.
trouble.
We've got Facebook. WhatsApp is departing BlackBerry, apparently. Facebook has been not supporting BlackBerry to the point where BlackBerry themselves have to make their own Facebook app. My thought is that this is more about Facebook's issues with BlackBerry than it is about any coding or OS software issues, whatever. I think this has a lot to do with the fact that Facebook wants your data because that's where Facebook makes its profits. That's where Facebook does its business. And to pull WhatsApp, to pull support for Facebook, I think this is all just part of the grand plan to get BlackBerry out of the market so that Facebook can be on all of its program, all of the OSs with all of the software it wants. Seriously, I'm not kidding. I think this is more a Facebook thing than it is a WhatsApp direction. And you know what? BlackBerry handles Facebook in its browser so well. I reckon just a glorified web link to the Facebook site, and that's all BlackBerry needs. Forget WhatsApp, forget Facebook, just run with it. We don't need it. We've got BlackBerry Messenger, and BlackBerry Messenger's cross-platform, so we can talk to people about a more secure, more well-rounded, a more fully functional messaging platform. We don't have to be beholden to WhatsApp. I'm not giving my mobile number out to every Tom, Dick, and Harry who wants to be a Facebook contact. Forget that. I think this goes beyond just, your code doesn't allow for the functions we want. Of course it doesn't. It doesn't let you mine our data anymore. So
it's definitely what you're saying, chap. I mean, let's just get that out in the open. That Facebook has never supported BlackBerry. That's not a Facebook app on our phones, even going back to BBOS. That was a BlackBerry-built app using APIs that Facebook made publicly available. WhatsApp, on the other hand, did support BlackBerry, and they were a good developer, regardless of what you think of their application and what it does. They were constantly updating that. They were constantly taking care of it. It was probably one of the better maintained apps in BlackBerry world. Yeah. And then Facebook got a hold of them, and they're purposely doing away with support for BlackBerry. There's no doubt about that. This is Facebook planned and orchestrated. WhatsApp had no issues supporting BlackBerry. They were very strongly supporting.
In saying that, there's still an app in beta world, in beta zone. That's a current release too, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, and there was just an update to the BBOS app also.
Well, you know why that is? That's the hook. That's the hook for people to keep on with WhatsApp, and then suddenly 2016 ends. Oh crikey, WhatsApp has suddenly gone. Either you get the Android version, which probably will be blocked for BB10 devices, or guess what? You ditch your BlackBerry device and you go get yourself an Android or iOS or a Windows device. It's the hook. That's really what it is. Or a priv. To be honest, Wayno, if WhatsApp wanted to, they could also block the priv. They don't have, in their Android ecosystem, they do not have to support all Android devices. So there is the potential that priv owners might be in the lurch come 2016 as well. I'm not putting it out there as a rumor, but I'm just saying that there is a possibility. And the fact that WhatsApp are continuing to support their app, I don't think it's the love for BlackBerry users. I think it's the hook. Try to keep BlackBerry users on until there's no support, and then they can't do without WhatsApp, making it invaluable to them.
I don't think it'll come down to that as far as blocking BlackBerry in itself on the priv. I think it's more about not having to develop for an OS that doesn't have a lot of market share, whereas Android's different. I don't think it'll come down to them blocking it on the priv.
I don't think it's that at all, Wayno. I really don't. WhatsApp's intention was to be cross-platform SMS replacement, and they've had no problem maintaining these old platforms that have very little users. I mean, they were still supporting Symbian. They're still supporting BBOS. I think these app updates that we saw were updates that were already in the works. You know, the development teams were still working on it, and then they came out with this decision. You know, they already had the apps made, just release them. I don't think we're going to see any more. I'm sure those developers have been pulled off those projects already. But WhatsApp has never had a problem developing for these small operating systems. What are you laughing at?
Dave, he's getting frustrated. Look at, g'day Dave, how are you, mate? He hasn't got a word in yet.
Dave's not used to this.
That's the point.
Quick, keep talking, block him out.
Well, after and thanks for that, guys. After having a rather egregious fight with technology, I'm happy to say that I've won, but perhaps it took a round out of me. I don't know, and I don't think I'm 100% back yet either. But I've got this new product, you know, and it's helping me out. Try this new Death Warmed Over. Death Warmed Over. You won't feel like a piece of shit. Anyway,
that didn't take
glad
long.
to be back. Yeah. You know, I've thought an awful lot about this WhatsApp thing, and 50% of me couldn't care less because I've always hated that application and the way it entwines itself into your contacts list and spreads it around like freaking peanut butter on you know, for everybody else and all these people. You never intended to have your phone number, now have your phone number, and the minute I saw that, first time I installed it was on a BBOS device, and when I saw what it did, I immediately got rid of it. And back then, you know, I wasn't quite as worried about, you know, certain apps and things as I have grown to become. But it was such an eye-opening thing to see the way it worked, and it was on my phone for maybe 5 minutes before I killed it. But they still got their tentacles on me just because I installed it once. So an awful lot of me either doesn't care or actually likes the fact it's not going to be supported, because I hate that thing. But I also, you know, the logical part of me goes, you know, there's an awful lot of people that don't care about the things that I care about, and all of their friends or whatever overseas or locally are on it. I actually don't know anybody that communicates with it in our office or my group of friends or anything, so it's kind of an anomaly. But I realize that it is large out there. You know, to me, BBM is every bit as good and safer too. So, excuse me. I don't know. The I don't care part of me kind of wins.
Yeah. See, that's the frustrating part, because yeah, BBM is much better. You know, and BBM is what we should all be using and we should all be promoting, and we should be happily telling people jump on BBM and jump off of WhatsApp. But the thing is, there are people that use WhatsApp, and we should be throwing our support behind those that do. You know, they want to keep it on the platform. I could care less about Instagram. I could care less about Facebook. I could care less about lots of apps out there. But we need them on the platform. As long as there's people that are using these apps, we need them. All we need is somebody that's obsessed with Facebook that says, oh, there's no Facebook app, I'm not being on BlackBerry. Or obsessed with Instagram, and oh, I can't buy BlackBerry because there's no Instagram. WhatsApp's the same situation. We saw what Instagram and Netflix did to BlackBerry 10 cells. So why are we hip hip hurraying that WhatsApp is leaving? Now, that being said, the Android app works great. One of our, Veru, tested it. It even gives notifications within the hub. The notifications, not the actual communications, but the notifications.
Is that like Wolverine, only not? Never mind.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You said Veru, and never mind.
Oh, okay. So yeah.
Dave hadn't spoken in a few seconds. He needed to get something in.
Blah 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 blah.
But so I mean, there are options for people that use WhatsApp. It's not going to be that big an issue for a BlackBerry 10 user that WhatsApp leaves. What it will be an issue is for a WhatsApp user to come to BlackBerry 10.
I don't know anyone who uses it myself either, and I don't think it's a big deal in Australia. I don't know anyone that uses it, and even with BBM, I've been on BlackBerry for probably 6-7 years, and never really gone to BBM except for the last 18 months. And you know, I'm really glad I did. It's a fantastic app. Met a lot of new people, and it's the first and the last app I go to every single day. But as far as WhatsApp in Australia, I don't know anyone that's on that.
Well, then we're not talking about WhatsApp in Australia.
Yeah.
You can still hike your little Aussie ass down to the petition and sign.
In Israel, WhatsApp is the main app that people use.
I think we all get kind of stuck in a happy little BlackBerry bubble where we feel safe and secure, and we forget that everybody who's not in the bubble has all these other interests and desires that just don't matter to us because we trust and we are loyal to our brand. And I think that's where the struggle with WhatsApp, like what Brad was saying, the struggle with WhatsApp comes into play because they're going to want that access, and we're not going to have the best version of it.
I mean, just go back to the beginning of our blogcast when we're talking about the Priv being released, and Roy is telling us how small a market Israel is, right? And we're still very excited that the Priv is hitting that market. Well, there's other small markets where WhatsApp is very important.
Yeah, in Israel,
and we need to support all those small markets. BlackBerry is an international brand. You know, it's like they obviously don't have the support of the United States. They haven't in years, but they've been subsisting off of these other smaller markets. We don't need to be losing those small markets.
You hear me?
Yes.
Now I can.
Oh, in Israel, WhatsApp is the main app that people use. If you are not in 200 groups and texting all day through WhatsApp, you are not popular. I'm not using WhatsApp since September, and when I tell people that I don't have WhatsApp, they think like I'm an alien or something. In Israel, WhatsApp is a big issue. You can disconnect connection with people because you don't have WhatsApp. People will not install another IM because they like WhatsApp. It's easy to use for them. For me, it's a data stealer.
And WhatsApp is a big issue in India, and that's an absolutely huge market.
And just for the record, the glory of WhatsApp is just because the BlackBerry. If BlackBerry would release the BBM in 2010 to be cross-platform, WhatsApp will be a niche app by now.
Yeah, that's a fair comment.
Yeah.
But I think we've already said it, that we're talking about the end of WhatsApp support for BB10 as a native app. I think that last bit needs to be emphasized. We've already spoken about the fact that Veru has put the Android version on to BB10. It works fine. In the future, will WhatsApp block BlackBerry devices from their Android app? We don't know. But at this stage, when people say, well, you don't have WhatsApp, where I would say, well, actually, yeah, we do. We don't have it in BB World, but duck on over and grab the Android app. Works fine. Not a problem. And we've been saying that about Instagram. We've been saying about those places that are not supporting BlackBerry 10 with a native app.
I think that BlackBerry will close a deal with Facebook about the WhatsApp app, and BlackBerry will develop a third-party app that will be more secure than the original WhatsApp app.
I don't think they will.
No,
I know there was that tweet from the social networking. I'm sorry, Chap's laughing at me. I'm not just like being argumentative, but you know, there was that.
Because you're never like that, like ever.
Shut up, Dave. No.
I'm just saying.
No, there was that tweet from the BlackBerry Twitter saying we're looking at other options. I don't think it's going to be a BlackBerry-built app, and I don't think that Facebook is going to block BlackBerry devices from WhatsApp. I mean, Facebook has not supported BlackBerry at all, but they've allowed BlackBerry to make a Facebook app using the APIs that they have out there. I think they will allow BlackBerry users to use the Android app. I don't think they'll be going any, because I mean, it really is better for them to have more users on it. But at the same time, they can basically trash us by pulling their app. But they've never had a Facebook app, and you look at the response the BlackBerry-built Facebook app gets in our community. Do we really want that kind of response for a WhatsApp app? Do we want BlackBerry wasting dollars to build an app that we know our community will just bash?
No, we'd prefer to see that go towards BBM.
Right.
Why would
well
they?
Said.
I can't understand why they would create an app themselves in opposition to BBM, their own app.
Well, just to have it on the platform. I mean, I'm hoping that like Nimmery or somebody comes up with a third-party app just to appease those people that
If
that
you remember,
use it.
at the beginning of BB10, before WhatsApp released their app to BB10, there was an app called Open WhatsApp,
Right.
a native app for WhatsApp. It was very good, and I think they should now pull their app again and update it. It can be a good replacement for a WhatsApp app.
And so, does anybody know if those APIs are still open, or?
So instead of just beating around the bush and hinting about it, should we jump into the rumor mill? Those APIs that BlackBerry uses for the Facebook app are coming to an end soon. This year. So the rumor is that that app that everybody hates will probably be going away to be replaced by our browser version, which actually works great.
Yeah.
I think if that is the route that they choose to take, I think that's a good idea. You know what? It gets the Facebook. It gets a Facebook icon on people's home screen, and it's a Facebook that people are used to using, and it's a Facebook that works great. And I bet you we will see overnight the reviews go from "this app sucks" to "this is a great app."
I
don't know. Is it going to be able to be integrated into the hub at that point?
No.
Well, if it's effectively a web browser, you can't integrate it into the hub. That's just not the way that it works.
That was my point.
It's kind of frustrating because I've got to admit, I do use Facebook, but since coming to BB10, my Facebook usage has been limited to hub notifications. I get a Facebook notification in the hub, I respond to it. Interestingly enough, the hub brings up the app, but I usually close the app and go to the web browser. But that notification would be great. Or to be perfectly frank, I could go months and then rock on up, and there's a few hundred Facebook notifications waiting for me. And I gotta admit, I don't have the time to plow through that much Facebook. If I could just get it done then and there, I'm happy. So while I'm glad to see this whole useless Facebook app gone, if we could do something with notifications, thanks for the thumbs up, Dave, there. We could do something with the notifications, that'd be awesome. That would be my perfect solution for Facebook.
I have a Facebook account floating out there that I have not touched. I basically got rid of Facebook 2 years ago, and then at one point I started up a new account as part of UTB and realized just how much I hated Facebook and just left it there. I get emails.
Got 3 friends on it, by the way.
Yeah, I think they're all here.
The 3 guys who watch this blogcast.
Yeah, today we have more people on the podcast than watch it.
You're wrong. I see the numbers. But no, I get emails every day, notification for this, notification for that on Facebook, and because I didn't have the Facebook app signed in on my phone, I didn't care, but I was getting notifications through my email. Now, with us deciding to reopen the floodgates for everything to try and help build a better BlackBerry community and opening our channel and making sure our Facebook accounts actually worked, I put Face 10 on my phone. It's actually a really nice app, but the minute I put it on, I must have got 1,000 notifications come flying into my phone. But I mean, there is a way to get notifications without hub integration, just via email.
That's true, but the email notifications are actually set by you in Facebook itself. So there are certain things that you don't get notifications for. Whereas with the hub, you get notifications every time something happens. Whereas I notice I don't get emails for everything that happens. There are only certain things that I have flooding my email. Like you, I don't want 1,000 things flooding my email. I don't mind it being in something that I can segregate into one section and then look at separately. That I'm okay with. But yeah, I've got to admit, now that you mentioned, I might have to give Face 10 a try and just see whether it's worth the couple of dollars it takes to get the thing on my device.
You can download it and try it for free. I don't know if it's for a limited time or if it's a limited version.
I think it's a 2-day trial with the with the pro features, and then you get the features taken away after like 2 days, and you have the free version.
So you basically can log in and look at things and then not do anything, like most limited versions. defeats the purpose of an integrated social network, but that's okay. It's okay.
Boys gotta eat, chap. Boys gotta eat.
Yes, I do. Damn it.
I was talking about Nimmery.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. I thought this was all about me today. That's why David hasn't said much.
I'm not going to tell you what my pet name for Facebook is.
Thank you.
No, all right.
Well, I put Apple Watch on here, not the Apple Watch, but to talk about what's been going on with Apple. But I really don't want to. So if anybody's got anything they want to say about that, feel free. I wrote a little blog today, and I think I got all my Apple out.
Little?
Yeah, I actually wrote a lot. Wayne's waiting for the blogcast to be over so he can go finish it. Sound it out, Wayno. Sound it out.
It's all good.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't think we need to watch Apple today. Apple can watch themselves.
I've heard enough, to be quite honest. You know, it's been dragging out, and I just tune out to it all now. Don't even bother reading it.
So that's why there's no comments on my post. Thanks, jerk.
Yeah, welcome. Although
Okay,
someone did. Who was the one that left that long comment on there?
That was grim.
That was grim. Yeah, it was almost as long as yours.
I think, to be perfectly honest, that Brad's just given us the comment that we need to put on that post, and I would encourage everybody reading or watching this, listening to it, whatever you're doing to this blogcast. Don't tell us what you're doing to it. We don't want to know. But anybody who's out there hearing my voice, I want you to go to Brad's blog right now and say, "Thanks, jerk." I want to see 1,000,001 comments. Thanks, jerk. I think we've got our comment for the day.
Ouch.
I'm going to start.
And there's a prize for the jerkiest font.
Wayno's actually got his phone out right now.
Oh boy.
You know I can't resist it there. I can't resist it.
Anything else, guys and gal? Erica has finally returned to the world of podcasting. Her geeky podcast came back this week. You can find it over at utbgeek.com or UTB Networks. That is a real site.
Yeah. You mean it's transcended from, your cranium to reality, or it is the tinfoil hat and it's out there? Thank God. It's free.
If it exists and nobody reads it, is it really there?
Yeah, right.
UTB Networks is really just a back-end site. It's our repository of all of our audio podcasts. So it's utbnet.works if anybody's ever interested.
Yeah,
there's really not a lot of maintenance on that site. It's just the audio versions of these podcasts are housed here and then dispersed to the other sites.
And it's not this a suppository.
Yes.
The great thing about that ad right there, Brad, is that the UTB network site is going to spike bigger than it ever has. We're now going to have 3 people looking at it today. So that's awesome.
And if you're dying to listen to the newest episode of my podcast, you can always just go to UTB Geek proper, and it is there on the front page.
Wow, what was that? Erica, our quietest, actually spoke over Dave, the loudest.
Yeah.
Good
Somebody
work.
has to cut him up.
That's
Girls
it.
have
He's,
girls have that effect on me.
I think we're all learning here. If Dave's talking, just keep talking. He'll eventually stop.
it's a
Yeah,
bash Dave Day.
then you get volume wars, and it gets ugly.
You would never fight with me. Don't even try.
Yeah, but you're way over there. You're way
Have another
over there. You can't even hit
Have
me.
I don't
another
know, Eric.
Budweiser, Dave.
Dave hangs out in Verizon stores.
I do what now? What's a Verizon?
Dave's not here, man. That's where that line that you see in the distance is actually like that.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, right. When I'm in an airplane sideways, I see that.
That's right. That's called Verizon.
Right. I get it.
Hey, since we're doing advertisements and promos, I just wanted to welcome Roy to UTB blogging.
Yay!
Roy runs his own site, Barry IL. Of course, anyone that watches the blogcast should know that by now. But that site's in Hebrew, so it makes it kind of hard to read for me anyway. So it's really nice to be able to read Roy over here in English without having to go through Google Translate and having that trash what he's actually saying.
Yeah, I did that once, and I ended up with a recipe, and I don't know.
He's actually
ingredients,
putting a lot of
so
us to shame too.
Yeah.
But for that bloke who does watch us, who actually does read Hebrew, Roy's fantastic BBM WhatsApp comparison has been converted apparently. So you can be bilingual and see that excellent comparison. Nice work.
And a damn fine job it was.
It was. It's nice to be able to piece those things together, to actually look at the winning app versus the app that we're promoting and just go, why? This is something here. I'm going to get off topic for a bit. My sister went out and got her first smartphone. She's my older sister, and for the life of me, I don't know how she's made it this long doing it. And she just went down and bought a cheap Lumia. It's the Lumia you could probably get for $50 or $60. And
that doesn't round it down.
What's that?
That doesn't round it down.
Yeah.
I'll just smile and nod.
Was it bigger than a bread box?
It's the cheap. I think it was the 640 or 560. I don't know their numbers. I don't know what they are. Yeah. But it's me being the phone guy, it's like, okay, I got to play with it. I got to set it up. I got to do this stuff. And I played with it for like the first time I've actually sat there and played with a Windows phone. Now, obviously, I know BlackBerry 10. I've spent a lot of time on Android. I've spent less time on iOS, but more time than I should ever want to spend on it. And we know that iOS and Android are the top OSs as far as the consumer is concerned. Well, we know here that BB10 is the world's best OS. It's astounding. People just don't recognize it outside of our world. Playing with Windows OS, my God, it's so much better than Android and iOS. It absolutely kills me that these decent mobile OSs, these good, great mobile OSs are just getting hammered. Excuse you, Wayne. Are getting hammered by these mediocre OSs. It amazes me. Now, obviously, there's certain things with Windows OS that well, let's just say BlackBerry 10's better. There's no doubt about it. But I would so much prefer to see Windows OS on the Priv than Android. If we had to touch another operating system, which would be
is that where you were going?
A commercial failure.
Yep.
What's that?
that where you were
No,
going?
we've already talked about WhatsApp. We're on Windows 10 now. What about that link we saw, was it yesterday, of Microsoft saying what their end of support date was for Windows Mobile 10?
Oh, shit.
All I
Yeah,
saw flash up on screen was spilt beer, and then Wayno cursing.
Still shit. There we go.
Okay. So,
All right. Dave
yeah,
said
what
something
Dave's
apparently.
talking about is someone shared a link of an article where somebody's saying that the Windows OS is going away because they found a site where Microsoft is giving the end dates of support for platforms. And
Yes.
what was the end date on that? Dave, was it
I think it was the end
2018,
of
I think?
Yeah, I think it was the end of 2017, early 2018. And in retrospect, it kind of reminds you that, that's kind of sort of a regular life cycle for products. Actually,
yeah, it's like a 2-year cycle.
Well, it made me think it was a little bit short, though, for any variant of Windows 10. I mean, I'm still getting emails to upgrade to it, and because I was in on the early adopter program or whatever. So I was just kind of surprised to see that out in the wild, talking about the end of something that is still sort of fresh on everybody's mind or relatively new.
I wasn't, because I think that was an article written by somebody that's trying to do what we've seen all these posters try and do to BlackBerry. If you looked up all of the other Windows products on the source page that they gave, which is a Microsoft page, everything has end dates. All that is end dates for support for that version.
I know. And when I posted that link, you immediately poo-pooed it, and I went away and I cried, and I was disappointed and stuff.
And he's just poo-pooed again. So in about 5 minutes, you're going to go away and cry.
So
and
much poo.
And stuff.
Hey, just to throw out, because they're chitter-chattering in group, Robert's wife, who loves Facebook more than she loves Robert, apparently has no complaints about Face 10. She's happy, so Robert's not sleeping in the doghouse anymore.
Yeah, well, Robert, just so that you know,
for that reason anyway.
I love Facebook more than I love you too. And that's not saying much. Just so you know, pal.
We are a lovely, caring, uplifting community here.
Yeah, naff off, punts.
All right. What do we got?
We hit the end of my list. Anybody that's got something else to say? Bambino Italiano wants us to talk about UTB Geek.
We just did. Was he not listening?
That's no surprise.
We were talking about Erica, not about the site.
Erica's been promoting it. Erica's saying, go to UTB Geek. Go to UTB Geek. I heard it, Erica. I'm with you.
Thanks, chap. Someone's backing me up.
That's right.
UTB.
Just in case you missed it, guys, go to UTB Geek. Go
Geeks
and check
of
it
the
out.
world unite.
Of all things geek. That's right. I was eating Star Wars cookies before. They were fantastic.
And after going to UTB Geeks, go to UTB Forums. Right,
yes.
Brad?
UTB Forums, get on it. UTB Geek has a forum, so go and see that at UTB Blog Forums. Go to the site, check us out, read us. We've got a lot of stuff.
Site, forums, blogs, channel, Twitter, Facebook, ugh.
Blogcast. Stick with us, guys. We've got lots more coming.
And my BlackBerry can kick your phone's ass.
Oh, are you going to plug
Yeah, plug it.
Nah, I'm not. It's already been all over the channel.
You can afford to now. I bought 2 mugs.
You did.
Here's
Did you tell everybody?
AU domain bought.
Did you tell everybody that the channel comments are open again?
Yeah, it was.
No,
I wrote a post about that.
I know. I actually read it.
Good.
I was talking about the blogcast. Ass.
Well, I'm assuming that the people that watch the blogcast read the site. It'd be kind of sad if they didn't. But
Well, I'm just saying, you know, I kind of missed the first half of the blogcast because I was, you know, suffering for my art or something. I don't really know what I was doing, but so I didn't know whether you'd mentioned it or not. Is all.
No,
Speaking of the blogcast, I think Abby wants to be invited. I think he's in the group chat saying he's disappointed because he wasn't invited.
Who?
Abby.
Tell him once he's in the forums he can come on the blogcast.
Yeah, I agree. Get in the forums, Abby.
Ooh, harsh.
So we've opened up channel comments again. We closed channel comments before because we were trying to unite our community. That was a small part. The main reason why was we had a hell of a lot of spam, and it was bad, and it was to the point of where certain bloggers that I won't say their name, Chap, was getting upset and not wanting to participate anymore because of all of the spam chat. So
Chap.
We closed them down, and we've opened them back up, and now we have more admins to go in and delete comments. Is he going to dance?
Was that what it looked like?
I was hoping you were going to dance.
Yeah, there's can, there's can, and there's can not.
This week, guys.
Guess which one you are.
I was born cannot.
There you go.
All right, I'm done.
You know,
Roy wants to get back in bed.
No, it's only 7 a.m. here.
Roy wants to get back in bed, and Erica wants to cry that she lives in the boondocks.
I need another beer.
No, you don't.
And Dave's going to lament it being shut down again.
Yeah. Pee me off. I didn't get on last week because I was sick as a dog. And then this week I had technical difficulties. You know.
So join us next week when I pretend to send Dave invites to the blogcast for half an hour again.
Yeah, over 70 of them. Oh, I know!
Yeah. It's the only way to get a word in,
have a whinge and throw it all in the... I'm out of here.
Yeah. Just, you know, note to self, when Brad says 70, it actually means 2.
Oh, that Canadian math. Dave's gone all metric on us.
Yeah. Ass.
Let's spare these poor viewers any more of our nonsense.
Yeah, let's call it. We'll see you on the blogs. We'll see you in the channel. We'll see you in the forums.
And the funny farm.
Or we beggar.
Bye-bye.
Take care, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Good night.